We are dealing with poverty. We are dealing with challenges of healthcare for the millions of people who cannot afford it. We have to work towards dialogue and make sure that there is non-violence. Our Constitution provides for people to express themselves. They did. But of course, the Constitution does not provide for violent reaction. But I want to thank you because what has happened to Kenya is not unique. It is happening in different countries too. But I want to thank you specifically that in spite of the upheaval, you still had the courage and determination to have this conference held here in Nairobi. That is a serious manifestation of solidarity and a message that brings out that we all can work together to resolve the issues and challenges that we face as humanity and as countries. We can work together. We should not run away from our problems. We should confront them, but confront them through persuasion, through logic, and through reasoned conversations. The to the rule of law, to maintaining law and order, to ensuring that everybody is protected. And in the process, we also open our doors to say that the conversation must continue so that the issues that will arise from time to time can be resolved peacefully through dialogue, and then we can move forward. As you embark on your discussions during this conference, let us reflect on the universal spiritual teachings and values inherited from Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who founded this global spiritual and humanitarian organization over half a century ago. Your service to humanity through education, medical camps, and community service have touched the lives and hearts of millions of people across the world. Through your work, you have become key partners with governments, the private sector, and the civil society in improving the livelihoods of the very needy in our society. Here in Kenya, you have planted over 3,000 trees in various parts of the country, including Bungoma, Busia, Machakos, and Vihiga counties. Your partnerships with the local schools, community-based organizations, and other stakeholders on the ground is an important contribution to economic and social transformation. I applaud you for this great initiative, particularly because it supports our government's ambitious campaign to plant 15 billion trees by 2032 to enhance Kenya's adaptation to climate change and its contribution to the global reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. The truth is, technology was a very strong instrument in the communication that the younger people were conveying this time around. So, the message I carry home with me is that you have to look very carefully at two things. Look closely at the teachings of Sri Satya Sai Baba, but also look very closely to AI. I think if we can harness those two strong pillars, we can be able to reach out to a lot of citizens globally. Our statistics show that 68% or 70% of Kenya's population are those that are going to be inclined to AI. The demographics have shifted. It's the young people that are dominant in numbers. But we now must make them dominant also in the ideas and embracing peace and having the long-term solutions and embracing patience.
God is good, and all the time. Maybe before I give my address, I request all of you to be outstanding in a minute silence in honor of our children and security officers who lost their lives in yesterday's protests and pandemonium across the country. Thank you very much. One of the key drawbacks to universal access to education is abuse of alcohol, drugs, and other substances. We have made tremendous progress in the war on these menace. We invite Kesha and other associations to complement our efforts. In particular, I'll appeal to you at the individual level to also take up this challenge by drinking less, drinking the right product, and urging others not to drink the harmful drinks. Walimu, mtusaidie tafadhali. Hakuna vile mtaambia wengine wasikunywe chang'aa kama mnakunywa sisi wenyewe. So mtusaidie, because you are also opinion leaders in your own right. Mnaheshimika sana huko mashinani. Na mko na sauti, that is the truth. Those of us who look for votes know how useful you are. Nyinyi mko na sauti kubwa sana. Mtusaidie kwa hii maneno ya mihadarati na mambo ya hii pombe haramu ambaye inaua watoto wetu. It's a big challenge, and I'm sure if you people agree, you can play a very important role. No, people look at teachers as a role model. Many people wanataka kunywa ile kitu mwalimu anakunywa. So drink the right thing, so that those who want to emulate you can also drink the right thing. Or even drink nothing at all. Mkunywe maziwa, uji, chai kama mimi na rais. One of the key drawbacks to universal access to education is abuse of alcohol. We cannot transform our nation when the critical population, teens and youth, drink themselves to destruction. We count on your support because you are also part of the education system. It is a great pleasure joining you, teachers, this afternoon for this year's Kenya Secondary School Heads Association National Conference. This conference is a critical conversation platform. It takes place when the government is implementing radical reforms in the education sector to align academic outcomes with the development needs of our nation. I, on behalf of government, congratulate you for the apt theme, Future Pathways for Learning and Learners in Kenya. It speaks to the agenda of our administration in delivering an education that will support and sustain the socio-economic transformation of our nation, as underlined by the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. This audience of key decision makers from schools is giving state agencies resourceful information to guide strategic interventions as we implement the CBC system. In particular, it is very important as we prepare to roll out the senior school, a key component of the CBC system. Distinguished teachers and leaders in the educational sector, We are excited that in contributing to the holistic approach of the reforms, this conference is focused on 3 pathways of CBC, that is social sciences, arts and sports, and science and technology, engineering and mathematics. Under our administration, the sector receives the lion's share of the national allocation because we understand that quality education requires quantity investment. With a particular focus on the 3 pathways, we want an education that generates job creators, not job seekers. We want an education that profiles and polishes talent of the students in what they do best, not bombarding them with material they least need in their career pathway to stardom. We want an education that sparks, nurtures nascent scientists and other experts to drive manufacturing as we strive to stimulate value addition in our produce, to fetch more for our farmers, who are the pillars in the production chain. Esteemed teachers, we have identified junior secondary school and senior secondary school as a crucial stepping stone of molding the student to the professional they desire to be. That is why we have heavy representation from the national government in better preparations for the rollout of the senior secondary school. In this regard, engagement with principals who determine the performance and excellence of our schools is paramount. We insist on strategic and transformative leadership in secondary schools to produce the best beyond the definition of the syllabus. We appreciate that more teachers are advancing in education. We urge them to consider programs that respond to the CBC adjustments as per the 3 pathways. Let me throw this challenge to you, head teachers. Please, lead by examples in sprucing up your skills. You cannot manage someone who understands their assignment more than you. Strategic management demands that you remain 1 or more steps ahead of your team. Distinguished teachers and principals, on the other hand, we are investing more to increase TVETs across the country. It is one of the ways of complementing universities in successive transition from secondary for students who are family established and focused in their pathways of choice. Because we want the TVETs to deliver, we set out to employ 2,000 more tutors in the 2023-2024 fiscal year to bridge the capacity gap. We have continued to invest in the TVET because of their potential to create jobs, especially the informal sector of our economy, which is employing more than 83% of our workforce. In looking for more opportunities beyond our borders, cutting-edge skills are the passport. Therefore, there must be seamless transition from senior secondary schools to tertiary institutions as per the pathways. We have also incorporated the recognition of prior learning at the TVETs as a strategy of increasing employment prospects for people who already have the requisite skills but lack validating documents. Distinguished teachers and principals, as we undertake these reforms, we have long-term and far-reaching implications. The demand for more financial and technical resources that cannot be overlooked. The National Treasury, led by Professor Ndongo, is listening to these discussions for insights that will guide structural review of the educational financing framework. We acknowledge Kesha for direct engagement with key agencies, including Parliament and the Ministry of Education, especially on funding. The government continues to receive and gradually incorporate feedback from critical actors to minimize disruptions. We are streamlining systems for timely release of funds. Even as the government allocates more resources to education, taxpayers must gain from this investment. We call for prudent management of resources for our schools to have the requisite capacity to deliver Our wealth is directly proportional to the investment in our children. Their successes is a measure of our dedication to offer them the best. Allow me to underscore the critical role of teachers' associations, such as COPET, NAT, the Kenya Union of Special Needs Education Teachers, among others, on their continuous contribution to good governance in the educational sector. We consider you critical in the rollout of the CBC system, in pushing for results from your members. Demand better results with the same valor you demand better pay.
And therefore, I really want to again appreciate the organizers for inviting me and for organizing this event to engage with his timeless and universal teachings over the next few days. And these teachings at its heart really inspire us to do our best as human beings and be our best as human beings, guided by truth, by compassion, and by love. And I think that if one had to, as a diplomat, really look at the world around us and at all that's happening across the world, at conflict and war and violence, I think the healing touch of Sri Satya Sai Baba's message has great relevance today and needs to be powerfully spread across communities, across societies, across borders, from one individual to another, from one delegate to another, into the ecosystems you're in, and for it to make an impact, for it to be embraced, and for that chain of compassion and love to grow wider, for it to inform not just individual behavior, but governmental action, non-governmental action and service to society in all the roles that we encompass in our love.
Selamat datang from Malaysia.
Already touched about his visit in 1968. Swami landed in Nairobi on June 30th, and grief and misery, like the earth goes around the sun, man is after that. Is work, worship, wisdom, work. So that was work. And then adoration is love. That is, he is omnipresent. And there is only one language of the heart. No English. So Swami talked to her, people were amazed in Swahili. So because there is only one language of the heart. See the underlying unity in everything. In our ignorance, we see the differences. I remember how we do that. One of the ways is the path of adoration. S-A-I, or worship.